My story began from the very moment I was born. These beings know who you are far before you were even born, and follow you in different lifetimes. My mother told me she had a Jesus cross like this one, set deep in the shelf, and she and my uncle and my father were talking about ghosts in another room when they suddenly heard a noise. When they came to see me, they saw the cross landed just beside me, and there's no way whatsoever that cross left where it was and landed beside me. My childhood was somehow quiet. I went to a Catholic primary school where a nun would tell me there's always a demon tempting you to do bad things, and there you have a guardian angel guiding you to do good things. I personally did not believe this. Then it's only by the age of 14 I started hearing and seeing weird noise that only me could perceive. I'll never forget that day my mother went to work in another province, and I fled from the house 3 a.m. to go to my aunt's house. I was traumatized. I could sense an evil presence. I was so scared to go back to my mom's house. When I told this my uncle, he told me it was just my imagination. During these paranormal activities, I started praying so hard to Jesus, and nothing happened. It was still continuing. I was initiated in Taoism by my uncle, and nothing happened either. I prayed to the Hindu gods that my grandmother showed me. Nothing happened either. In the long run, I realized I was praying wrongly, and I was doing it only through the mind. It needed to be with your heart, as your heart is like a radar and antenna to the upper dimensions. So ever since, I was disgusted by all religions and thought it was all useless, and I started hating Jesus. The consecutive year, these things stopped, fortunately. At some point, I became atheist. Then I suddenly felt something was lacking and felt like my life had no sense, was boring. I was trying to find the reason of existence. I started searching and delving deeply in all religions through the encyclopedia. And I had a general idea of each religion, of what it consisted about. To me, it was mind-baffling. I saw it like mind traps. So I decided to be spiritual without being religious, because each religion was telling a different thing. So I entered the New Age, and I was in mysticism, occultism. I had a direct experience where I saw God in 2001 during trance meditation. Ever since, I sort of connected with Godfather. Then I had my friend, who happened to be my childhood neighbor. We grew up together. In 2001, he started behaving weirdly. His mother told me it was just adolescence crisis. Then things really started turning very bad. He got possessed by a demon, and he was sent to psychiatric hospital. Only me could see that demon. It was always moving dark black cloud in the house. Its presence was extremely negative. It was always a dense evil vibration. And there would always be fights in the house. I kept on telling them it's not psychiatrist that he needs, but an exorcist or a priest. The mother was in Jehovah Witness and believed only in Godfather without believing the Trinity. So that's why most of them are seriously in danger without realizing. They say they don't believe in souls nor spirits. How ignorant that was, because it costed them their life. The worst happened when she started behaving erratically too. When I look into her eyes, it was very creepy. I knew it was not her looking at me anymore, but something else, extremely evil. So, eyes are the windows of the soul. And I saw something else took place where her soul used to be. That's called possession. Demons usually push your soul off your body and drag you to hell. It's what happened in my case in 2017. So she would leave the house at 3 a.m. and walk everywhere on the streets. That was in end of 2004. And I tried everything I could to save her. I tried to trick her to go to a guru. She wouldn't come. She would always talk about suicide and how she's fed up with life. Be aware that all suicide cases are provoked by demons. Demons have power to influence minds, and you won't be able to perceive them. One day, we just heard in the news she threw herself in the sea and she killed herself. It was in February 2005. It was horrible. The most ironic part is her spirit came to talk to me, seeking for help. And she was the one who when I was alive, was telling me spirit does not exist, as per Jehovah's Witness. So, I came to know this being was Satan himself. Fortunately, when he would attack me, I would connect to Godfather and he would be repelled. He's extremely strong, and he entered my mind, and it's like I lost control. Right now they're sending evil aliens on me, but they can't do anything. In 2008, I dropped off from all spiritual life because I felt it was too demanding and vice was creeping. I lost all my psychic powers, clairvoyance and everything. My life went up like this till my husband hijacked my life end of 2015. He fell deeply in love with me, and I never really knew what was love, nor what was a serious relationship, but I felt so loved and secure with him that I said, I'm gonna give a try. The demons started to sabotage me as they wanted me to remain as I was before, so they could feed on the sexual energy. In the beginning, it was disastrous. As much as I loved him, I always had that wandering mind searching elsewhere, and there would always be fights. I was so blind and not aware how these demonic entities were causing this nymphomania attitudes, and they would feed on the sexual energy. I always had a sharp pain back in my spinal cord, and I thought it was just a simple pain. In 2017, things started turning very bad. Once we were sleeping, and I always felt the presence of a demon approaching to disrupt us. Every time it's sharp 3 a.m. I didn't even know demons had capability of making people fight, and they influence minds. Even in conscious state, even awake, they can influence you. They become very strong. In the Chinese year of Rooster, 2017, like in 2005, as the veil of the spiritual realms get thinner. Once we were driving, the demon suddenly possessed my husband temporarily while he was driving. Suddenly he lost notion of time, and he even forgot how to drive. It was like he didn't know what was happening. We felt a general sense of disorientation. So I needed to call Archangel Michael, who fortunately saved us. When my husband was not here, I always had that attitude to go and talk with other guys. I really love my husband, it's just that I still had that sickness, mental sickness of nymphomania. So my husband caught me and he left, so I entered in a deep depression. And the demons took advantage of this to possess and kill me October 2017, which is the major turning point in my life. They started tormenting me in broad daylight. I started calling my friends and told them goodbye because I felt like I was gonna die now. I was losing consciousness back and forth. They were pulling my soul to hell, and I was trying to get back to my body and going back to hell. It was a very awful feeling. Only those who get possessed can understand this. So I saw hell for the first time. There were like 5 demons against me. They were tormenting me. They pulled me there and I couldn't come back anymore, and I knew I was already dead. I was literally in hell, and it was very horrible. They were tormenting me, inflicting me pain 1,000 times worse than any physical pain I ever knew. That place was very horrible. The smell was horrid, the vibe, everything was very dense and negative. So at that moment, I begged Godfather to forgive me for my sins, for everything I did to man, and I promised I will change. I miraculously was pulled back to my body. So I was so thankful. I knew the demons were still in the background, but for weird reason they couldn't get close to me. There was something protecting me. The next day I started searching a church that I saw in 2015 that triggered something in me, which specialized in exorcism. So when I reached there, I felt a breeze wrapping me, and I started crying. It was the Holy Spirit. I felt the Holy Spirit for the first time. It was never clear what was the Holy Spirit, but when I was a child, I used to tease my maid because she was evangelical Christian, and they had that reputation of being crazy, shouting and stuff. So I remember that I felt very sad, and I had a deep remorse because the people I was mocking is the same people helping me. So on Sundays they do exorcism, and like they exorcised me because these demons were strapped into my chakras. They were strapped inside my body. 1 week later I got baptized, and the pain that I had in my back disappeared. Ever since, my life changed, and now I help evangelize people with similar problems. It's something very horrible that the few minority will understand. You cannot tell that to anybody. They might think you're crazy. Don't tell that to atheists. They are sleeping souls in the matrix. Ever since Holy Spirit gave me some superhuman powers and gave me tasks to evangelize people and save souls. So I'm sharing my story so that other people out there know that they are not alone. And I'm also here to defend. And I can also say that in 2016, when I went, the other brother of my neighbor that lost his mind, who was in the mental hospital, the brother committed suicide. So the mother committed suicide in 2005. The other brother committed suicide just after I left in 2016. And here in Spain itself, I had another friend who committed suicide, and with my third eye, I managed to see she too was possessed. So be very careful. All these people who are having suicidal thoughts, these are demonic attacks, okay? It's not a psychiatrist you need. it's not a psychologist. You need an exorcist, and you need to connect back to the Holy Spirit. We are in the end times, and those who do not have the coverage of the Holy Spirit is going to suffer. And oh, the worst of the worst is the demons killed my father last year, 2018. That's why I kept on saying, and I keep on telling people, go vegan. They generally can inflict disease. They use this bad karma of eating animals to inflict disease. For example, if I want to hurt you by pulling your hair, first you need to have hair to pull you, right? But if you don't have any hair, it won't be able to harm you. It's the same thing with being vegan. When you're vegan, the demons won't have anything to grip you, you know? So I kept on telling my father to go vegan. He wouldn't do it. And so finally, he was killed. And to affect me, and my sister, who is an angel as well, an earth angel. So sometimes they don't have issues with atheists. You know, demons control, they have a control of each and everyone. They monitor each and everyone in this matrix, but they are not interested to do a full possession. They would fully possess someone only if it's someone like who is a danger to them, who is approaching God. Those souls who are trying to escape the matrix, who's getting too close to God, they are scared of these types of for example, me, they know who and what I am. I was an angel, a power angel before Noah's time. So they are trying to clamp me down because I'm trying to awaken new people from the matrix. It's what they don't want. They trap people with two stuff: the eating animals and having sex. With these two, they hold you like this, okay? They hold your soul like this, just these two. That's why you never ask yourself why a majority is using less than 2% of their brain, because these two things, eating animals and having sex, these two combined is enough, like to maintain you down low in this matrix and pull you to hell after death. And it's what they want, because we are reaching end of the time. They want your soul, so be very careful. I have other videos where I'm compiling everything that happens in the church. So this is the proof that these beings exist. The atheists are the youngest souls of humanity, so it's hard. They are very hardwired. They use the left side of their brain more, so they're very logical. So it's like, to me, sometimes it's a waste of time to explain them, but to those who understand this, that's why I'm here for that. I hope this can serve you. If you want any help, any advice in these stuff, I will try my best to help you, okay? So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.